All right, let's dive right in. Welcome to this explainer, where today we are unpacking some truly terrifying visual lore. We're talking about the Harvest of Nightmares. Now, this isn't just a random collection of spooky images, it's a living, breathing environment with a deeply dark history. Together, we're going to immerse ourselves in the absolutely suffocating atmosphere of a place known simply as Scary Town and uncover the chilling ritual that defines it. We'll track the visual cues that signal impending doom, and ultimately, we're coming face to face with the massive source of the nightmare itself. So settle in and let's begin our descent. Leave before dark. It's simple, right? Well, this is the absolute most important rule of this environment. And honestly, it isn't a suggestion, it's a strict mandate. The entire lore of this town hinges on the cycle of the sun. Sure, daylight might offer a fleeting, kind of deceptive safety, but the true nature of this place only really wakes up when those shadows start to lengthen. This is our very first breadcrumb, a clear, unmistakable warning that the horrors we're exploring are intrinsically tied to nightfall. If you ignore this rule, well, you basically just become part of the town's grim history. Now check out this jarring collision of two completely different worlds. Right in the center, there's a modern red car, its brake lights reflecting off that slick, blood-soaked asphalt. That car represents us, the contemporary intruder who has definitely stumbled into the wrong place. Because barring the path is this ancient, creeping dread. You've got that towering Gothic clock tower looming in the background, this massive monument to a time long past, while a spectral, ghostly figure stands right in the foreground, totally blocking our entry. It's a brilliant visual metaphor, honestly. The town is a trap caught out of time, and that modern car is already getting swallowed up by the oppressive darkness of the architecture. And the second we cross that boundary, the atmosphere just drastically shifts. This graveyard essentially operates as a twisted welcoming committee, instantly setting a truly terrifying atmosphere. Notice how the primary light source here isn't the moon. No, it's the sinister, unnatural glow of those jagged jack-o'-lanterns scattered all among the tombstones. And I want you to draw your eyes way out into the distance. Do you see those hooded figures lingering near the doorways in that warm, sickly light? They aren't moving toward us, but they are absolutely aware that we're here. It establishes this bone-chilling sensory dread right at the edge of the cursed territory. You can practically feel the crisp, dead leaves underfoot and smell the decay. As we walk down the main thoroughfare, you can feel the trap starting to close. Notice how the perspective of these wet cobblestones helplessly drags your eye deeper and deeper into the shadowed architecture. The skeletal, twisting trees reach out over the path like grasping hands, and that heavy fog rolling in just chokes out the sky. And the lighting is so deliberate here. Those sparse, isolated lanterns, they don't illuminate the street to make it safe, not at all. They only serve to cast deeper, stretching shadows. The physical sensation of walking down this creeping, isolated path is incredibly palpable. It's a masterful way to make the viewer feel entirely trapped in the town's geography. Then we arrive at the village square, and the environment pulls a really deceptive trick. It almost feels peaceful, right? It's just so deceptively quiet. You have the warm, inviting glow of lantern light spilling out from that merchant's tent and the upper windows of the timber-framed houses. Cloaked figures are gathered around, seemingly just going about their evening business near that ancient pale bell tower. But listen, it is a total, false sense of security. The color palette is so heavy with cold blues and grays pressing down on those tiny pockets of warmth. This quietness isn't peaceful. It is the deep breath right before the plunge. The town is just waiting. We've seen the creeping fog. We've experienced the deceptive calm. But here's the real question. What happens when the rain starts? Think about it. In horror lore, rain isn't just weather. It's an event. It washes away the quiet. It isolates you. It completely drowns out the sound of whatever might be creeping up right behind you. When the sky finally opens up over Scary Town, the atmosphere violently pivots. We are no longer dealing with a quiet, eerie walk. No, the horror becomes active. It becomes undeniable. Boom! This sudden shift acts as a pure narrative jump scare. Look at the stark, terrifying reality of these rain-slicked streets now. That warm lantern light we saw earlier? Completely gone, entirely replaced by a harsh, unforgiving storm. And suspended right in the foreground, hanging from a crude wooden gibbet, is a grotesque corpse. Crows are just circling it, drawn right to the decay. This is exactly why the rain is so absolutely crucial. It acts as a catalyst for the town's true, nightmarish face to reveal itself. The architecture in the background even looks sharper, more hostile. The town isn't just haunted anymore, it is actively violent. This hanging figure is a brutal, undeniable message to anyone caught outside after the rain begins. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, I just need to get off the street. I need to find shelter inside. Actually, scratch that, because that logic completely fails in Scary Town. Look at this contrast. On one hand, we have the haunting isolation of the exterior woods, a lonely road, a sign reading "Turn back now," and a spectral figure waiting in the mist. It's this expansive, cold terror. But then on the other hand, we have the interior, a claustrophobic, filthy hospital room. The bed is ruined, the walls are literally dripping with gore, and a horrifying face manifests directly in the decay. We're contrasting the vast, inescapable dread of the outside with the confined, bloody terror of the inside. The crucial takeaway here: there is nowhere safe to hide. The environment is corrupted all the way to its core. And just in case you thought you could slip by unnoticed, the town leaves you these lovely little messages. "I saw you," scrawled entirely in blood. This just perfectly heightens the psychological dread. You aren't just a passive observer taking a walk through a spooky place anymore. You are the subject. You are the prey. This town isn't just a location, it's a sentient trap. It watches, it waits, and it communicates its lethal intentions directly to its victim. It completely shatters that psychological wall between the wanderer and the environment. Suddenly, we are thrust into this frantic, kinetic energy. We're staring down a pitch-black, abandoned train tunnel. The tracks are glistening with moisture and blood, leading into absolute darkness. But look at the walls. "Run, run, run" is painted over and over in these frantic, bloody strokes. And waiting right there at the edge of our vision is that exact same spectral figure. The environment itself is literally screaming at the visitor to flee. The slow, creeping dread of the village square is long gone. Now, pure survival instinct has to kick in. You have to move, but the only way out is to go deeper into the dark. So what does this all mean? Well, what we're witnessing is actually a highly methodical process: the dark ritual. Step 1, ominous warnings right at the border. Step 2, the gathering rain that violently strips away the calm. Step 3, blood omens that completely break down your psychological defenses. And it all leads up to Step 4, the final harvest. As we finally approach the site of the harvest, we find ourselves on the muddy, decaying outskirts of the town. Look at the sheer unnatural size of those crows flying overhead. They're massive scavengers, completely out of proportion, signaling that the normal rules of nature simply do not apply here anymore. The fog is incredibly thick, totally shrouding these rotting wooden huts in mystery. But notice what is illuminating the dirt path. Yep, more of those glowing, sinister pumpkins. They act as literal trail markers, leading us away from the stone streets and directly into the doomed agricultural fields. We are making our final descent. Everything we've witnessed, the warnings, the rain, the blood, it was all preparing the ground for this exact moment. The final act, the harvest of nightmares. The entire nightmare culminates right here. I mean, just look at the horrifying, unbelievable scale of this entity. Towering over the humble stone buildings and those vast glowing pumpkin patches is a colossal giant woven from the darkness itself. It's the literal physical manifestation of the town's curse, and it's holding what looks like a massive scythe or staff. And right in the foreground, providing the most heartbreaking sense of scale and vulnerability, are two small children. They're walking directly toward this unimaginable titan with nothing but a single fragile hand lantern. It brilliantly illustrates the ultimate disparity of power in Scary Town. All the architecture, all the ghosts, the rain, they were all just window dressing for this, the entity that actually reaps the town. And that brings our visual journey to a close, but it leaves us with one incredibly haunting question. If Scary Town operates in cycles, if the rain always comes and the pumpkins always glow, is the entity still out there, just waiting in the fog for the sun to set? Waiting for the very next wanderer who fails to leave before dark? It's a chilling thought to leave you with, for sure. I hope you really enjoyed this deep dive into the structured terror of the Harvest of Nightmares. Keep analyzing those stories hidden in the shadows, and we'll see you in the next explainer.